the King James Bible really is not in and of itself like a direct translation of the Greek and Hebrew. Although there are some corrections that were made, and they did a good job on that. Old Testament, remember, that's Hebrew, Masoretic text, and it was also some of the Septuagint. And then you have the New Testament was predominantly Erasmus, which is the Textus Receptus. And of course, in looking at that, we did see the fact, especially when it comes to Textus Receptus, that it does depend on what version you're talking about. And when Erasmus put it together, he really was more interested in getting it to print than he was being accurate with it. So our texts that we have today actually are far more accurate. So there are some areas in Scripture where after further evidence has been reviewed, yeah, they're not actually in Scripture. And we looked at one of those. One of the more predominant ones is Romans chapter 8 and verse 1. Because over in Romans chapter 8 and verse 1, you have an addition onto verse 1 where it says, who do not walk according to the flesh, but according to the Spirit. Well, as we found more manuscripts and more evidence, it shows that this was added very late. As a matter of fact, this was translated back into the Greek because it comes from the Vulgate. It was not a part of the original. And it was taken from a lower section, primarily because of theological purposes, because, and you even run into this today, people really have a problem with the fact that salvation is not something you can work for. And it's like, I have to give you something. Like, no, you don't understand. You cannot give anything. Asking for forgiveness of sins doesn't give you salvation. You're like, I have to exchange, I have to feel remorseful for my sins. That's not going to bring salvation. The only way we have salvation is through faith and taking God at his word.